Happy Final Four Saturday, America. We are so happy to be bringing it to you on the field of 68. We are at Alibi Sports and Spirits in downtown San Antonio. Stop by and see us at Alibi's. They got some great food. Jeff just had some tacos. It's a party on the Riverwalk. He is John Henson, the legend. Jeff, Rob Doster, I'm John Fancy. You'll hear from a variety of our voices over the next hour. John, you played this game at the highest of levels this day on the basketball calendar. Where does it rank for you?
I got sent home one game away from both of these, but it is one of the probably things that I will lose sleep over through, when I look back at my career, because this weekend, as you see, it's just an amazing experience. And Coach Williams always talked about, hey, look, I want you guys to experience this. So I'm loving it, man. The environment, the atmosphere, a lot of Duke blue around here. Yeah, it's giving me anxiety, but I'm going to be okay.
Jeff, where's this sit for you?
I mean, this is one of the best Final Fours that we've seen in a long time. I mean, I go back to 08 here and what happened with the Blue Bloods, the number one seeds, and you bring it all back. I don't think there's the high-level names maybe, but you do have the best two players in the country all year, Cooper Flagg and Janai Broome. You've got a great cross-section of coaches, right? You got the two old dudes, Kelvin Sampson and Bruce Pearl, who were kind of run out of the game for a while, and look at what they've been able to do to resurrect their careers. And then you got the young guys coming up, Sean Shire and Ty Golden, who are built for this era of college basketball.
And for starters, I kind of disagree with you in the sentiment that there's not star power here.
Not like it was in 08. Not like it was in 08.
Well,
you had Rose. Oh, you had
Tar Heels, D.
yeah.
Rose.
Yes.
But we got Cooper
Chalmers.
Flagg and Duke. You got Janai Broome, who co-national player of the year. You got Walter Clayton, who might be the third best player in America. Mm-hmm. We got big names coaching. There's storylines galore.
You know what part of it, again, they're not the highest level NBA guys, number one. And a lot of these guys came from mid-majors, so we didn't hear about them. There was no juice going in where Derrick Rose, you had heard about him for years on the AU circuit. Kevin Love, you had heard about him for years on the AU circuit.
NBA Hall of Famers.
Yeah, like it's different.
All-Stars.
I'd love to say like it's got the same juice that it did in 08. It has a ton of juice here, but it's not 08.
Okay, of all that juice, let's play the headlines game. Right now, we'll start with you, bring it to you. You're a headline writer. At 11 o'clock tonight, what do you think will be the headline?
Duke is playing for their coronation. Duke is playing for their title. John Shire is going to be in the national championship game. We're going to get Duke. We're going to get Auburn. We're going to get Cooper Flagg. We're going to get Janai Broome. They're going to be playing.
It's a long headline.
Yeah, well, I'm not a good headline writer, but that's what the story's going to be.
Not a dissertation, bro.
That's what the story's going to be.
Like a headline.
You'll turn
a
it
headline's
in.
got to be like
you'll turn it in and get a failed
5
pass?
words.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, Henson.
I got a headline.
We got a Tar Heel here.
Cougs
we got a Tar Heel.
win.
Whoa!
Cougs win.
Cougs win.
That would be the hell of the
I
headline.
got a headline. Cougs win.
I mean, that one.
That's a headline. See, so in the last 10 minutes, John Henson has offered to take over the lead social media job at Field of 68.
Man, look,
I
could be assistant social media coordinator. I've been working.
All right, what's your headline? Come on now, write it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is going to be,
Nobody's
Cooper
picked
Flagg, something about the flag.
Raise the flag.
Yeah, raise the flag.
Well, what about the other
like
game?
that.
Nobody's got a headline for the other game.
Well, I mean, I think the problem is, again, either way,
is
you're going to have Duke or you're going to have, like Henson said, the major upset.
Yep.
Because Florida-Auburn is a pick-em game.
Right.
It's a pick-em game. So either way it goes, it's not going to be the headline game. The headline game is Duke-Houston because Duke's the brand. They got the number one player. They got the number one pick. And, again, I think Cooper's going to show out tonight.
So here's my headline. Was calling this the Clash of the Titans all week long. So I'm just going to spin it to the rematch of the Titans Monday. Flagg, Broome. Because I think that Auburn team that lost to Florida, that gave up 90 points to them, they were due to take a loss. They were 21-1 going into the game. You're going to have a day in the SEC where maybe you're not fully on. And Florida that day showed they belonged in the top tier. This rematch is fascinating to me, Rob, because I think when you look at it, Florida made Janai Broome take 19 shots to get 18 points. Florida does have the length inside, theoretically, to continue to match up well with Janai Broome. What does the game come down to in our first game tonight?
I mean, look, it comes down to funneling the ball to him if you are Florida. I've said it all year. I think the way that you beat Auburn is you shut off the water for everybody else. You try to funnel it into Janai Broome and make him beat you with post-ups, right? Don't let him get into space. Don't let him work with those ball screens. Don't let him get rolling to the rim. You got to take away all of that and make him have to beat you with his back to the basket. Because I think that is – he could do it, but I don't think that's his strength. What he does best is when you get him moving in space, rolling to the rim.
Is that the right scheme? Hey, just funnel everything to Janai Broome, turn the water off their perimeter.
I don't know if that's going to work. I don't know if that's going to work either. I just think the beauty of Janai Broome is he can go to work, or, again, he can find those dudes, those shooters, and if they're making shots, and I think Pettiford is the key. I really believe that, because when Tahai Pettiford is going, he gives them energy. He gives them a guy who can just go get his whenever he wants. And to me, they don't have anybody else like that. But if Broome's not doing it, I mean, if Pettiford's not doing it, he was so good early in the season, and I think that was a big reason why Auburn surprised people.
I think you go to Broome, and as if you make them make tough twos. If you can make Broome make tough twos,
Single man coverage
if you can.
Don't you mix it up? Why wouldn't you mix it up with him?
Just make him be
Make him
inefficient.
think.
Make him be inefficient.
Aren't you going to make him think? Like, why would you just go straight up every time? I would be making him think.
As me watching him,
They don't
I'd be
have
doing it
a-
on the catch. I'd be
Florida
doing it on
doesn't
the
have a
dribble.
two-time ACC Defensive
never
Player
seen
of the
him in
Year.
person, but length bothers him, size bothers him.
Sure.
So what I would do is say, hey, look, let's see how he's feeling today, one-on-one. See what's going on. Because let me tell you, as a big man, when you get that single post up and you miss a couple bunnies, it starts to run in your head, and now your team's kind of like, okay, well,
You're passing it more than.
like, okay, is he on today? So, you know, you can definitely switch the cup out just one-on-one. Florida's got the size. See,
And they got the bodies, too. They got
I don't know
5
how
guys
they
that
guarded
can
him. I
throw
didn't
him.
necessarily watch that game. I don't know how they guarded him. I'm assuming they do more of the set.
Sit on his right shoulder.
Yeah. And
Don't
sit
let
on
him
his
get to the
shoulder and
left
make
hand.
the finish over length. That's what I would do.
Well,
and if he
and
goes,
they have hang looked in now.
if he goes
I mean,
8
that's
for 19 or 7 for 7
That's
for
what he did the first.
16,
Yep.
I love our chances.
Yeah,
But you know
that's how you beat them. You have to make Janai Broome beat you with twos.
Let him
That's
hit a
what-
three. Let him
yeah.
hit a three. Let him hit a three. Let him
But
feel good about that.
it does bear noting, Jeff. Florida was able to do that, and they didn't have Elijah Martin. And they still scored 90.
But that's when Florida was rolling. I mean, that's when they were rolling, and let's face it, the last few games, they haven't looked like that Florida team over the last month of the season. They've turned it on when they've needed to. Walter Clayton Jr. has been Mr. Clutch, but they're going to have to play better than they have over these last few games.
They have been the definition of survive in advance.
Right.
Like, that is what they have done. They have survived. They probably should not. They got outplayed by UConn. They got outplayed by Texas Tech, and they just had a first-team All-American.
And I don't like when you play with fire like that over and over. I think Auburn is closer to that dominant team over the first 3 quarters of the season. I think they're not there, but they're definitely a lot closer. And the biggest difference I've seen being around these guys is now they're not effing around as much. You said it yesterday in practice that they were, but I think you're going to see them today where they're going to be locked in.
And Houston had a full practice.
Of course they did.
They sure did.
I mean, are you
He only
surprised?
goes one way.
Are you surprised? I mean, that's Kelvin.
Let me ask you
Miles
this.
Luzon looked good, too.
If you could have any of these 4 coaches coaching your team in a game today, which coach would you select?
Shire.
Tell me why.
Why?
He coaches. For one, he's pumping out pros. That's the first thing. You know, other coaches are too, but Shire's got pumping out pros. I just think they run an NBA style system scheme, how they run their things. I think the biggest thing for me at Carolina was we were treated as pros. There wasn't a curfew. We weren't putting tape on our doors. You weren't forcing us to go to the gym. We went by so when I got to the NBA, it wasn't like a shock. So I think Duke has that same type of and Shire has the same type of.
But you're picking a 37-year-old over guys like Bruce Pearl and Kelvin Sampson. That's a
I'm
statement.
just saying, for my style and what I would like, what I am and what I was, I would go Shire. I would go Shire Sampson.
So then, Jeff, the
I
question,
get that. I think it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense because what Shire, and I didn't really notice this until I sat down and watched it happen in person in those games. The way that he adjusts on the fly, like switching up defenses, switching up coverages, finding the mismatch that he wants and attacking it over and over again. Like you said he coaches like they're pros, right? He's got an NBA mindset that you don't always see from college coaches, right? A lot of times we're going to run this set, we're going to run that set.
I mean, he's young. He's adapted in everything he's done. Everything that guy has done, he has said, you know what, the Duke family, all right, I love the Duke family, but you know what, I'm going to bring in an assistant that's not part of the Duke family. And I don't care. I don't care what Coach K thinks.
Allergies getting you, John?
Pollen.
Really?
But which
Can't handle it, huh?
I was
rough.
looking for more headlines. The day goes on. I can't wait to see the You should make a newspaper graphic at the end of the night. I want to see the actual headline. No, I do want to ask you this, though, because this has been a talked about topic. I don't know if I've heard the answer from you on this. Which of these coaches, and I know it's the two older guys, between Sampson and Pearl, when you think legacy, like, do you think you can make a case for one over the other in terms of who could really use this national championship?
They both. The argument that you would make for one is the same argument you would make for the other. Like, they've been to the bottom, man.
You don't think? Because
they got run out of the sport. Like, that's the crazy part
very
about this.
similar.
They got run out of the sport.
Can I say this, though? I will make this argument. I think Kelvin has done a damn good job. It's an unbelievable building job. Because of Bruce's PR nature and how forward he is and how he's grown this likability factor nationally. That's why I say Kelvin. Because Bruce, people are going to be like, I love Bruce Pearl. Oh, he's got so much energy, so much this. Kelvin, he's gotten better because he's gotten more exposure. But what if Kelvin Sampson now wins a title with the Houston Cougars from what he took over? That's Baylor-like.
No, because Houston still, in the mid-'80s was
right.
Drexler, Five Slam and Jamma, Hakeem. I mean, they had dudes. Baylor
don't
never
know
had
about
anything.
that.
But, yes, what they've both done is amazing in terms of, to me, Auburn was such a bad job. Nobody wanted it. The only way people won there was cheating their asses off. Like, that's the only way anybody ever wanted Auburn for the most. And they'll say it. Like, Barkley will talk about it, right? Like, Sonny will talk about it. Like, I just feel like both of them, it's hard to say one over the other. I think if, Billy Donovan went in the Hall of Fame today, he won 2, he won back-to-backs. If one of these guys wins it, I think they're a lock for the Hall of Fame. I really do.
I think that they're both Hall of Famers already.
They're not locks, though.
They're not locks, but I think that they are both Hall of Famers.
I mean, Kelvin, this is his, third Final Four. Bruce, this is his second. They're not locks, but yeah, I mean, if you get a national title, you're a lock with all that.
Let's talk about the second game. The nation's best defense in Houston against the country's top offense in Duke.
Top 5 defense.
But Duke showed that they've got the defense, too, that they are as well-rounded as anybody. So what do you think? If you were to, I'm going to flip the question here. If you were Houston, how do you get to the under 4 in the second half, and it's a one-possession game and you got a shot to win it?
Houston goes for the knockout punch. And you have to either punch back or punch first. So if I'm Houston, I have to punch first and pray to God Duke doesn't punch back or Duke punches first. That's the only way you're in this game. So Houston's going to probably have to be up 2 to 3 possessions going into the
you think Duke's going to get a few calls? You think they're going to get a few calls?
They're going to get a few calls for sure. But
it's not a Cameron. Come on.
One possession game under 4. Houston, I think, has to be up at least 6 to 10 points
Roy Williams
at
and
halftime.
Krzyzewski.
I don't know, man.
What?
We got some home cooking. For sure.
What do you think? How does Houston win this game?
He's right. I mean, they got to punch first.
Yeah.
They got to punch first and see how Duke responds. Right? I mean, we know, like, these dudes aren't your typical freshmen, but they're still freshmen, and they're still playing in this atmosphere. I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting. Like, Cooper's like this, right? Nothing seems to rattle him, but could the moment be a lot for him if they go down 8, 10, 12 points, could they start pressing a little bit?
Low possession game, too,
Yeah.
so it's not going to be a lot of possession.
I think
you got to work for it.
the biggest thing Houston has to do is they can't allow that run to happen. Like, it feels like Duke, you're waiting for when is that 12-0 coming? When is that 14-3 run coming? And Houston has to make sure that that's a 6-0 run, right? A couple of possessions and then nip that in the bud. You can't let Duke get rolling because you're not coming back on them. They're too good for you to come back on. You cannot let them get that run.
And the way the Houston-Duke game is going to go, they're both super slow-paced, low-possession teams. Every shot, every three is going to be like a bombshell. Like, the crowd it's going to be a crazy.
I can't wait for this crowd.
Yeah, like
I can't wait.
Every
for both
basket
games.
is going to matter, and the crowd is going to go nuts for every shot. So you have to, just stay focused, and you can't worry about that.
When you talk to other coaches in the Big 12, they say there's no experience in our league like when you go up against Houston. You have to be mentally tougher than every other time. The route that I think Houston needs to take is, like you just said, you've got to land an opening punch, and then you do have to hope a little bit. The magnitude of a football stadium,
Yep.
all the eyes, the flash bulbs, just
Get
the
them
buzz.
down. Get them down.
And
See if they get rattled.
And now you get them wondering a little bit. And threes aren't falling as frequently. And Houston's, at the end of the day, what's this Houston team? Why are they here? They're here because this has been Kelvin's best shot-making team from the perspective of options, from the perspective of having Milo Shuzan. Kelvin said Milo Shuzan has changed the complexion of our team. This is a game for him, Cryer, Sharp, and if two of those three can be knocking down shots, gas up that motorcycle because the Cougars are going to be riding on into Monday for a championship game. That's what it comes down to, because if you make threes, Jeff, then you set Cooper Flag, Concanipple coming up in the half court, and you're saying, go ahead, try to score on us. Go ahead.
I mean, the only thing I keep going back to, though, is still that length of the Duke defense. Man.
What is happening right now?
I don't know.
Hey, those are Houston fans, by the way. One guy's got a red bandana in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, that's what Duke's had to play against today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
The
Final four.
Duke's defense, though. Like, do you worry about that for Houston scoring?
I don't worry about Duke's defense. I think I brought that up earlier in the week. I said Houston
score.
That's my earlier in the week. I said, look, I don't know if Houston's gonna be able to score enough.
Right.
I think the defenses are gonna show, but
agree.
can Houston score enough? They shoot 40% from the three for the year, but Duke is probably gonna cut that water off, in my opinion. So what are they gonna do now?
So the thing when it comes to being able to beat Duke, right? In theory, you got to be able to hang with them physically, right? You got to be able to have a defense to stop them, and you got to have guys that can win possessions in mismatches, because they're going to switch everything and they're going to make you beat them one-on-one. And in theory, Houston's tough, Houston's physical, they can guard, and they got three dudes in their backcourt that can go make a play one-on-one. I don't think that those guys in their backcourt are going to be good enough to do that on enough possessions to win this game. But Houston is built the way you need to be built to beat Duke. I just don't think they're good enough to be able to do it.
Who do you think Kelvin will have guard Cooper Flag?
Jawan Roberts.
It's a huge Jawan Roberts game.
Jawan
Jeff.
Roberts. I think the most important part is the other end. I think it's how Cooper deals with Jawan Roberts. Like, does he get into foul trouble? Can he avoid picking up that second foul in the first 10 minutes? Because you know they're going to throw it into Jawan, and they're going to try to get him on the
But that's the scary thing about Duke.
They're
They
going to go at him.
They don't need Cooper to be extraordinary to still win.
They do not. They have they got other guys. Concanipple, Tyrese Proctor's played great basketball lately. They got a lot of dudes.
Jawan Roberts guarding Cooper Flag. Like, I feel like Shire's gonna lick his chops when he sees that.
I'm sure he is.
And
I'm not sure anybody can.
He's gonna put Jawan Roberts in the pick and roll and put him behind, and see what happens on the backside. I don't know. Like, Cooper Flag's had the guard of Jawan Roberts. I don't think Jawan Roberts has had the guard of Cooper Flag. So, I mean, it's fascinating. I cannot, like, I haven't been excited for a game like this
Both games.
in a long time. Just see a Final Four like this. I was here at the last one. I was in Austin at the time. Me and my dad came down, so I saw that. I had committed to Carolina at the time.
Where
too.
is he, by the way? We were promised that John Hentz's dad was going to
Tomorrow
come
he's
on the
coming.
show. He's coming?
Tomorrow he's coming.
Oh, boy.
You can ask him about. Look, I want you to ask him. Say, hey, look, John wanted to go to Texas. He called him in and said, "Hey, look, we're not going to Texas. Tell us that story." This will be a good one. This is a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, he's coming tomorrow. He's coming on the show.
And then when's the big Chris Hughes appearance? Has that happened yet?
I think maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tomorrow we'll get him on.
Little teaser. I learned that at the SiriusXM seminar.
To check in.
We can't wait. We were in New Orleans in 2022, and that was such a celebration because we were all back at a Final Four, and it was Kansas and Carolina and Villanova and Duke. But Villanova had lost Justin Moore. So it was like, it doesn't feel like we're going to get 2 great games. And they tried, but we didn't. This feels like it has the makings of that type of night. And if we get 2 strong games, man, would that be incredible.
A lot of fake Duke fans out here, too. Probably couldn't name like 5, 6 guys.
Wow, look at this.
I'm just watching. I'm just looking around.
Maybe you should ask.
We're going to stop. We can stop some Duke fans and say, look, name 3 players on the last national championship team.
Grab some.
I bet you they won't be able to.
Hey, sir, can we see you?
We got a question. Can we ask a question? We got Duke fan. Can we ask a question?
Wow.
No? We got to ask you about
We want to ask you a question.
3 players on the last Duke championship team.
3 players in the last Duke championship team.
2015, R.J. Barrett. Come on.
Grayson Allen.
Jason Tatum. Was it this?
No.
My point exactly.
15.
My point exactly. No, they didn't win that year. I think they lost to somebody. Who was that?
South Carolina.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Okay. That was in the.
Tyus Jones.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. It's all.
92 starting lineup.
Oh, and listen, I got you. I hear you. What's the 92 starting lineup?
The 92 starting lineup was Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, Brian Davis. Oh my gosh, Gerald Henderson.
Not Gerald.
And
Not
Mike
Gerald.
Dunleavy.
Henderson.
Gerald Henderson.
Very good, though. You did a nice job. What's
She's
your name?
legit. You're legit. You're
Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you.
Certified.
Are you gonna go in here?
Tar Heel, right? Do you know he's a Tar Heel?
Okay.
That's
Him.
okay.
No.
Some of my best friends are Tar Heels.
My sister's a Blue Devil.
Excellent.
Yes,
Excellent.
yeah.
I teach at Duke and work at Duke.
Perfect.
Teaches it too. There you
You got it.
There you go.
Case study right there. Just so you know, lot of. She's a professor and doesn't know
trying to
this.
say it's
That should
been a
tell
while.
you. No,
She
it's
was-
not even. I wouldn't say it's been a while. It's easy to throw on that Duke shirt and walk around here all happy and mighty.
She was very nice. She put Gerald Henderson on the same team.
Yeah,
as
she put
Christian
Gerald
Laettner.
Henderson on the same team as Mike Dunleavy.
She said Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
Right? R.J. Barrett.
yeah, R.J. Barrett. Yeah, so
Maybe
Well,
a little
this is-
Tyus, Justice, and Jaleel.
I'm just-
How about that?
Well, let's. We got more programming here, and that programming.
I was gonna
has
buy
to
her
do
around. I was gonna buy her a drink.
with our partners at Wayfair, as it's every style, every way. We're going to break down the style of play that each team has used to reach the Final Four. It is our Wayfair every style, every way. Rob, the styles at which all 4 of these teams, how would you break them down?
Who are we starting with?
Let's start with the Houston Cougars.
The Houston Cougars. Defense first and foremost. They build everything around their defense, everything around their toughness, everything around being physical. When they are at their best, they're playing rugby. They're not playing basketball.
And they challenge the referees to make calls. I mean, they really do. It's one of the kind of reminds me of what Butler did to some extent under Brad Stevens, right? They'd be grabbing you, and the refs aren't going to call every single call. And I think that's part of it with Houston.
Yeah, defensive physicality. They have to hit threes. If they don't hit threes, it's over. They have to hit threes. But yeah, I think I don't know who said earlier in the week. I was listening to something. They said if Houston's allowed to play with the physicality they played with against Tennessee, Duke's in trouble.
It's not just the defensive part, it's the rebounding part. Sometimes their best form of offense is the offensive glass, which is why today's interesting because of Cooper Flagg's athleticism, because of Kama Malawach. I'm really curious to see what happens on the boards in this game. Every style, every way.
Hey, I need a Wayfair discount code. I got a new little setup I'm doing, so I got my cart ready to go. I got 7 things in it. You know, Wayfair, Rob, I don't know who set that up, but
Rob will take care of you.
Yeah, Rob, take care of me, man.
Every
Pay
style,
for it,
every
you know
way,
what I'm
the
saying?
Duke Blue Devils.
Yes. Be who you are. Just listen. If Duke plays how they've been playing for the last 30 games, they will win a national championship.
Who are they? What's their style?
Whew.
They got
They
got the
killers.
most,
I don't know.
They got the most NBA
Yeah, they're
style
killers.
that we've seen in college.
They're killers. They don't go away. They're
But
killers.
they don't have that. They don't have.
haven't had to
this,
go away.
They don't talk at you. Like it's just
No,
it's
no,
a killer instinct, but it's different.
They're boring as shit off the court. I mean, they are, and they're kind of boring on the court, personality-wise.
I mean,
they're robots.
I got a story.
They are robots.
I want Harrison Barnes. He went to visit Duke in North Carolina. This is what happened.
remember.
This is the story of that recruiting visit. So he goes to Duke, whatever visits. He comes to us, has a blast. He said, "I'm coming to Carolina." I said, "Wow, you want to come here? Like, what was it?" Well, you guys actually took me out to have a good time and, had a nice family environment, and it was just a lot chiller. Duke, I went to a movie with Kyle Singler. So that should tell you, that's how it is.
Remember he Skyped this
what he
commitment?
Yeah,
He
went to a
Skyped
movie with Kyle
his commitment.
Singler. That's where they lost him.
That's how long ago that was. He Skyped his commitment.
Oh no, we listen.
Skype?
We stopped practice. We went into the meeting room, just watch it on the TV. He ended practice. One of the best days of my career because coach was like,
You're done.
hit the showers. Hit the showers. So
Every style, every way. The Florida Gators. What's their style?
It is the new brand of what analytical college basketball is going to be. 3 guards, 2 big guys.
Yep.
Guards that can make shots, big guys that get offensive rebounds, space the floor, kick it back out. They want to maximize the number of possessions, forcing turnovers, getting offensive rebounds, and they want to be able to get as many of the most efficient shots possible that they can at the rim from the three-point line.
Yeah, balance and fit. That's what they've been able to do. And again, the cool part is they've done it with 3 guards that came from the mid-major ranks. So cool to me. I don't even know if Ty Golden would have expected this.
their style is pick your poison.
Yeah.
You want to go in the glass? We can do it in the glass. You want to go to perimeter? We can fight you out there. You want to get a defensive battle? We can do that. You want to run? We can do that too. Just pick your poison.
They make you work hard defensively, and at some point, you're right, you've got to pick your poison. They seem to get more comfortable as a game gets deeper or a shot clock gets deeper because they've got shot makers, they've got flamethrowers, but it's not just that. Defensively, they don't get enough credit for how great they are. That's a top 10 group in the country from an efficiency standpoint because they have a front line that really can make you uncomfortable, both on the glass and the way they challenge your shots at the rim.
I think Clayton's got a guard tonight.
Yeah, that's
I
big.
think Clayton's got a guard because he's capable. Sometimes you just kind of watch him and kind of falls asleep. So he's got to be locked in tonight defensively.
The matchup we haven't talked enough about, and we can get to Auburn here every style, every way. Denver Jones, one of the best on-ball defenders you're going to find on Walter Clayton.
He shut down a lot of dudes this year.
Oh, he sure
a
has.
lot of them.
Yeah.
That's why he was a Naismith Defensive Player of the Year finalist.
Yep.
Finalist. He's phenomenal.
He drafted him. I did not know that, his defensive
Watch
acumen.
him tonight, man.
I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him.
He is so
Again,
active.
Clayton's incredible this year, but Denver Jones is going to make him work for everything.
Let's start with you on this. Every style, every way. The Auburn Tigers. What's their style?
I think again, you're running your stuff through Janai. Like it's a big that's one of the best bigs in the country, and that enables them. That's why they've been such a good shooting team this year because you've got a big that can pass out of that double. He can go to work one-on-one. I just think he makes everything easier for everybody else. Without Janai Broom, I don't want to say they're an average basketball team, but he just makes it work for everybody.
It's really strange with both of these guys, Broom and Flagg, because I think they're definitively the 2 best players in college basketball this season, right? But neither of them are. It's not as loud as some of them. It's not like they're going to go out there and get 35, 40. Like that's not how they win. They win because they make everything else around them work. Like their greatest strength is the connective piece that they have there, and I don't think it's often that we see that, but I think that's why both of these teams are so damn good.
Auburn's style of play, shout out Wayfair. When it rains, it pours. There's spurtability. When they get it going, when the shots are falling, you're going to lose because they're a team of runs. And, we saw that in the Michigan game. It was a 20-point swing in 8 minutes. and Michigan had the bigs, and they had the size, and it didn't matter.
They have the perfect storm makeup. So what you said so interesting. It wasn't at full level of their A-plus game. But if they get back to that this weekend, they're going to hoist the trophy Monday night. Now, it's whether or not they can, but if they can play at their absolute best, they have the pieces to make you shake your head and say, I don't know what to do. They're knocking down threes, and they got the best big man in college basketball. That's your Wayfair, every style, every way. We've got the links. We've got the promo codes. We are proud to partner with Wayfair. Thanks to them for sponsoring the segment. Last thing, and then we're going to rotate in. We got look at some of the the guys we got checking into the game.
Listen, I want John Martin's Burberry glasses. We've got the coach, the legend, right here.
Who wins tonight?
I'm gonna go.
Your two
I'm gonna go. Now that I've just sat back and watched both teams, I'm going to Houston, Auburn.
Wow, he's going Houston, Auburn.
I like the value on that too, by the way, folks at home. BetMGM, it's good value on that. Just saying.
I got Auburn Duke. I just think Auburn's best is better than Florida's best, and we're seeing them get closer to what they were earlier in the year.
Auburn money line, Duke laying the 5.5, Duke Houston under. That game's going to end up being like 62 possessions. It's going to be 60-58, something like that.
Home state teams are 7-1 straight up. I'm just saying. That matters.
We'll see.
It should matter, but not against this Duke team in the way that they're playing right now.
For sure.
And I think that they come out and just keep punching. They look like a team of destiny.
Here's the problem with that. Houston is the home state team. This is going to be a home game for Duke in that building.
Oh, boy.
I guess. I mean, you just saw what we did. They don't even know.
They don't even know much blue.
To me, the key in the game
We're in the Duke
is whether or not
it's right there.
Houston's offense can execute against Duke's defense steadily enough, and can Houston get off to the great start. I'm going to go with Duke and Auburn. I'm with you, which would be, how good would that be?
Oh, it'd be great.
Boy.
I mean, I don't think we can get a bad
You were at the
championship game. Yeah, I was. Auburn did not play well.
That does it for us. Well, we're just going to take a quick timeout because we got a cast of thousands here at Alibi. Stop and see us. We got Jerome McNeil, we got Matt McCall, we got John Martin coming your way next on the Field of 68 on Final Four Saturday.
I want my home to feel like my home. So whether I'm looking for big furniture, just a small piece for my place, or maybe some storage solutions for the basement or the garage, the answer is Wayfair. Seriously, I needed a new patio set and fire pit for my backyard. I bought it on Wayfair. It looks great on our deck, and it gives me an excuse to fire up the smoker, invite some friends over, crack a couple beers. Just last week, I bought a new chair for my office, someplace comfortable to sit while the madness takes up the 4 screens in front of me. I got it on Wayfair, clicked a few buttons. A couple days later, it showed up at my front door. They even offered to help set it up for you. Digging through online stores can be intimidating. Trust me, I know. It can be hard to find what you're looking for in your price range, but not on Wayfair. They have great options, even if you are balling on a budget like me. Wayfair has every style for every home, including mine and yours. So head to wayfair.com and shop everything home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Owning property in the state of Texas is difficult enough. Paying taxes on your property should not make your life any more complicated. Ownwell believes that when it comes to paying property taxes, you should only pay what's fair. In under 3 minutes, you can sign up and have their team of Texas experts start saving you money without a single upfront cost. It's easy. When you sign up, you get an instant estimate of the tax savings they can get you so that when that property tax bill comes due, the amount that you have to fork over to Uncle Sam isn't quite as painful. Put property tax money back in your pocket in just minutes. 86% of customers receive a reduction with an average savings of more than $1,100. Imagine how much less stress you'll have in your life knowing that you could take some of the money that you have earmarked for the IRS and spend it on, I don't know, an 85-inch flat screen to watch March Madness. The deadline to protest is May 15th for most Texas counties. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com/CBB. That's OWNWELL.com/CBB.
People have opinions about me, strong ones. Some compare my brand to the competition and call me a copycat. Some say that I'm just watered down, that I fall flat. I've heard it all. But the people who get me, they say I'm different, subtle, but balanced. Nothing to hide, nothing artificial. And once they give me a chance, they keep coming back for more. For more dab water, That's right, I'm talking about Dad Water, and I swear by it. No bubbles, no fizz, just a smooth, refreshing canned cocktail made with real tequila. 100 calories, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Find Dad Water's 4 flavors in an 8-pack variety pack or single flavor 6-packs. Dad Water invites you to enjoy its great lineup of products all tournament long. Take it from me, Jeff Goodman. Sometimes the most polarizing things are the best things. Dad Water, tequila, water, natural flavors.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
Welcome back, Field of 68 live from downtown San Antonio. Alibis.
Slide in.
Okay, perfect. All right, I don't know what happened, but we're here. We're here at Alibis, downtown San Antonio. Final Four going to tip off here in about 2.5 hours. John Martin, Matt McCall, Rob Doster, Jarrell McNeil. We've talked a lot about the games, obviously, already, but we've got a 2-time Gator champion here, Matt McCall, who worked under the newest Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer, Billy Donovan. We were talking before the show about it. Just talk to me about working for him and, just seeing it day to day with Billy at Florida.
Well, I'm so happy the cat's out of the bag because I've known for 4 days.
Killing
and I promised him I wouldn't say anything, but the fact that the cat's out of the bag now, I couldn't be happier for Coach. He deserves it. I told him the other day on the phone when he told me, I said, when I left Western Mass, when I was asked to leave Western Mass, I was never going to go back to Western Mass. And I said to him, the only time I'm going back to Western Mass is when you go into the Naismith Hall of Fame, and that's exactly what's going to happen. There's nobody more deserving. When you work for someone like him, it's not like going to work. You're going, and the experiences that we had, yes, we worked really, really hard. That's part of what made him great was his work ethic, but you never felt like you were going to work. You felt like you were going to do something you loved with a Hall of Famer, with someone that treated everyone in the program. Like, you got to remember, John, like, I was a student manager to start.
Right.
He never treated me, less than he treated his assistant coaches. That's who he is. Yeah. And not to mention, he's a brilliant basketball mind that treated people the right way, worked extremely hard, and that's why we won. We won because of the environment. We won because of the environment he created, from the assistant coaches to the secretaries to the student managers to the players. I could not be happier for him.
When he gets up there and he accepts the invitation into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, do you think the first thing he's going to say is, I couldn't have done it without Matt McCall?
No, I don't think that's what's going to – I don't. But you know what? I'm excited today, too, because they're going to honor him at the half of the first game.
And here's the coolest part about it is he's getting into the Hall of Fame when the Florida Gators are back in the Final Four.
So the Gator Nation, you got to think, at the half of this game, will start chanting his name. It's just remarkable, and so happy for him, his family, his wife, Christine, his 4 children. I know a couple of them are here to celebrate it. He gets to go to work every day with his son now. His son's a part of the Chicago Bulls staff. It's just great to see, and I'm glad he can make it. They played in Portland last night,
wow.
And he had to jump on a charter flight to get here, and he's got to leave right after the game because they play in Charlotte tomorrow. Yep. So life of an NBA coach, but this is awesome.
He made it, man. He made it. So good for him.
And I think one of the things that you just spoke about, Matt, kind of stuck out to me was just you talking about the work environment. And I think we all know enough basketball to know that can be completely turned upside down.
Oh, my gosh.
Going into work, enjoying what you do, being able to work for a guy who is the leader of a program is not just a great X's and O's basketball mind and great coach, but a good person as well, too. And I've heard great things about him. I don't know him personally, man, but that speaks volumes.
And again, like when I became a head coach, I was so spoiled. You try to recreate what he created, and it's impossible. Like, impossible. And I'm saying, like, everybody within the program, I've told this story before, Mark Dagnall was a GA on our team in 2014 that got to the Final Four. A GA. The NBA Coach of the Year, a GA. He gets married a few years back. Coach Donovan's there. Jeremy Foley, the athletic director's there. The strength coach is there. Duke Werner, the athletic trainer. Tracy Paff, the administrative assistant. I was there. Oliver Winterbone, the video coordinator. That's what Coach Donovan created. That the GA is getting married and everybody shows up to his wedding. That's the environment, and you're spoiled when you work at a place like that for a guy like that.
Yep.
By the way, absolutely diabolical flies in Texas.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, these flies are absolutely massive.
It's this,
I
man.
mean, it's just insane.
That's the reason.
Everything is bigger in Texas, including the insects. I'm just watching our producer, Trevor. He's in a full-on war with him over there. I don't know who's winning right now. We'll have to see by the end of the show, but Trevor's losing the war right now with Texas horseflies. All right, let's talk about today. Todd Golden is trying to do what Billy Donovan once did, which is win a championship. Now, Billy got 2, but you can't get 2 if you don't get 1. So the key to Florida winning this game, Matt McCall, is
their unselfishness, how they play the game. Their superstar, to me, is a guy that, yes, is calm, steps up in big moments when the game's on the line and able to make big shots, but he also is unselfish. He makes the right play. He doesn't seem to me like a guy that ever tries to force the issue. Now, he turns it over at times. He struggles on the defensive end of the floor, but he doesn't try to force it. I think Auburn, to me, I don't want to call them the selfish team, but sometimes it turns into a one-on-one matchup.
Yes.
Sometimes when Pettiford comes into the game, he just tries to go, and he tries to go and get one. I think Florida's unselfishness plays out in this one.
Yeah. The thing I'm worried about with Florida, and I'm curious your opinion on this, is they were rolling heading into the tournament.
Yeah.
I think everyone was like, that might be the best team in college basketball.
Yep.
They weren't great against Norfolk State after the first
He was
20
frustrated
minutes
with
or
them.
so.
Todd Golden was frustrated.
Against UConn, I would make the argument UConn probably outplayed them. Florida was lucky to get by. Maryland, they were good. They smoked them. Maryland
Their
had
coach had 1 foot out the door.
Yeah,
so
Maryland was focused on something else. And then Texas Tech outplayed them.
3-minute stretch.
Yes, 3-minute stretch. They needed to win it. They are the definition of survive and advance.
Yep.
You've been through this tournament twice. You've seen what it takes to be able to string together 6 in a row. You're not going to play great every single game, but how concerned are you with some of the struggles that they've had here in the last couple games?
Rob, I kind of flip it, where I'm like, they haven't played great in this tournament, and they're still here.
Yep.
That, to me, makes them even more dangerous. I had an opportunity yesterday to interview Elijah Martin in the locker room before their practice. He's a guy that's been here.
Yep.
And sometimes when you get to this point and you haven't been here, you get caught up in the hoopla. You get caught up in all what's going around on here. When you walk into that open practice and the band's playing and the fans are in there and they want you to turn it into a glorified dunk contest, you get caught up in that. Elijah Martin's focused because he got here and he was 1 possession away with that Florida Atlantic team playing for a national championship. He's focused, and he's the leader of the team in terms of keeping those other guys that may get caught up in all the hoopla. No, guys, like this is what it is. Yes, when you walk into the hotel lobby, it's going to be absolutely pandemonium. When the motorcade gets there and they give you the send-off, there's going to be more people in your hotel lobby than you've ever seen in a hotel. He's focused. He's locked in. I think the fact that they have not played that well in this tournament, that's a positive for the game.
Todd's got their attention then.
Yeah.
No, I think he's unequivocally right about that, because I said this a little bit in Vegas. I thought UConn was the game.
I did too.
And it
I
turned
did
out
too.
to be, because I thought that
Texas Tech was the game.
I mean,
too.
don't get me wrong, but
that was a miracle.
Just that, holy shit, we can do this.
Right.
We
No
can make this
doubt.
run. And it turned out to be a really tight game,
Yep.
a tough game. Didn't play great, obviously. Texas Tech game was the same way. They put together a crazy stretch down there when they needed it most. But at the same time, they know that they can play a lot better. We've seen them play a lot better. They've been better all year long. So going forward now, you get into this situation, you're one of the last 4 teams. We haven't got close to maximizing or playing at our highest level, guys. What better time now than put it all together, right?
Yep.
And then you look at it on this end, especially for this first game against Auburn, I'll look at the depth. And I think that's going to be the difference in the game, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, how
guys go
Aberdeen,
to the bench,
like,
they go to the bench and they don't lose anything. Auburn a little bit wounded with Janai Broom already. I guess we'll have to kind of see how he's feeling or how he'll look. But Florida has a chance, I feel like, to kind of wear them down, especially if the pace is a little bit more up and down and fast. So I think it plays in the Florida hands. So I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome of some of these today.
I'll say this: we can't know Johni Broome's health all other than what he tells us. Right? He says he's 100%. He's going to go. He's going to play. I do think we have lost sight a little bit of how great Auburn was this year.
I totally agree.
You know, there's the stat of no team has ever lost 3 of their last 4 and won a title. But how many of those teams had already clinched the number 1 overall seed by then? How many of those teams had already clinched the regular season championship of the best conference maybe in college basketball history with what the SEC did? So, quite frankly, I do think it is a bit disrespectful to Auburn that they are underdogs in this game given their resume this year.
I don't disagree. I mean, the 19 quad 1 wins, nobody's played a better schedule. No one's played better teams than this Auburn Tigers team. And it's almost kind of like they're sitting there laughing. Okay,
to
guys.
go into the locker room before the game and say, we're
doubting
underdogs.
us. Yeah.
We're underdogs.
Everybody's doubting
Number 1 overall seed.
Okay. We just got to make sure Baker Mazzara stays on the floor.
Yeah.
We got to keep him on the floor. We got to keep him on the floor. Because, look, if you're Bruce Pearl, you're showing film to your team of you guys getting punked on your home floor
100%.
without Elijah
100%,
Martin.
100%.
Couldn't guard anybody off the bounce. Florida lived in the lane in that game. You gave up 13 made threes. Like, you're showing to your team you guys got punked.
That's right.
And so this Auburn team's going to come out fired up. So the tensions,
they have the narrative edge.
Tensions are going to be running high. So if Baker Mazzara gets into an altercation with Elijah Martin, keep your cool. Don't lose your head because your team is better with you out there on the floor.
He's very capable of doing that.
Yes.
Very capable
Can't
of
afford
doing
that.
Yeah.
Cannot afford that.
And the needle that you have to thread is when Auburn is at their best, they are playing like that. They are playing. It's Chad Baker Mazzara hitting the threes and popping his jersey at the bench when he just made, like, when they have that level of, I mean, this word is always over, but when they have that level of swagger, when they're playing with that kind of confidence, when they have that energy out there, that's when they are back to being national championship good Auburn. And we saw it in the last 10 minutes against, it was Michigan. They're down 48 to 39. They outscored Michigan 39-17 the last 10 minutes. Then they come out against Michigan State. In the first 10 minutes, they outscore them 23-8. That 20-minute stretch right there, you outscore the 2 best teams in the Big Ten 62-25. That Auburn right there is the Auburn that can go out and not only beat Florida, but can beat Duke in the national championship. So my question is, can they play with that level of intensity without having it go to the bad side? That is the whole key to me for Auburn.
I mean, I think they've shown that they're more than capable. But the thing that scares me, and I'll say it, and this sounds crazy because John had a great point. We're sitting here talking about all 1 seeds as well.
Yep.
All these teams are really deserving, and Auburn has had probably the best season out of all of those teams. But the thing that scares me is that they do have those lows, Rob, like you talked about. Yep. They have an ability to hit the gas like they did in that Michigan game, where it's like, man, it's a nip and tuck game, and you come back and turn your head for a second, and it's bang, they're down, they're up 12. Like, man, they have another gear that they're able to hit. But with a team like Florida, you're going to have to do more than just a couple runs here and there. They're going to have to sustain some of those long stretches of play where they're playing in that next gear the entire time. So it'll be interesting to see because I think they do have a shorter bench as well, too. So.
It's going to be a fantastic game. Looking forward to it. There's obviously another game. Houston, right down the road. Seeing a lot of Houston fans taking on Duke, who has been the highest rated team that we've seen in a long, long time. The way they are just absolutely obliterating any and everybody in their path. And Houston, in a lot of ways, you could say is going to be their toughest test yet because of just, frankly, how tough they are. How does this go down? How does this go down today, Matt McCall?
I think the biggest concern for Houston is can they score enough points? Because I think Duke's going to be able to score against their defense. As good as Houston's defense has been all season long, and it's been absolutely outstanding, this is not a play-calling game. And what I mean by that is John Shire is not going to be standing over there calling 3 spread or 4 slice or whatever his actions are called. This is set a ball screen, get 2 on the ball, throw out of the trap, and go make a play. This is a playmaking game. And who has the best playmakers in the country, a collection of the best playmakers in the country? Who has positional size? The Duke Blue Devils. Nobody has it any better. So I think the way that Houston plays on defense is going to benefit Duke. I really believe that they have the best playmakers, and this is a playmaking game. This is not a play-calling game. There's no ball plays in this game. This is a play-making game.
Yeah. I think
Gator Nation is everywhere.
I think he's a Gator fan.
Gator Nation is everywhere.
I think he's a Florida fan.
I think I went to college with that guy.
John Henson. Showing love with the jello shots.
The thing that
Chapel
you mentioned
Hill
about the traps on the ball screens, right? Can you just talk a little bit about how
do it live on air?
How different it is what they do when they're guarding ball screens versus other teams in college basketball?
Yeah, it's just he has this saying. He calls it the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And you have to be above the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
He uses a football term to talk about how they're guarding pick and rolls. That's what he does. He uses a football term. That's how aggressive they are. That's how physical. Go back to Braden Smith in the Purdue game.
Yep.
Braden Smith's poise, Braden Smith's size
Really good.
almost advanced them to the Elite Eight. Zakai Ziegler, not as big, not as poised, struggled. Not pick and roll oriented.
Yep.
Tennessee's not a pick and roll oriented team. That played into Houston's defense. Duke is a pick and roll oriented team. And again, this is a playmaking game. And when Proctor gets trapped in a ball screen, you know who he's throwing it out of in those traps?
Man.
A guy by the name of Cooper Flagg, the best player in the country.
And I think one of the keys to this game, sorry not to cut you off, Matt, but will be, like you said, Samson, you know, they're coming to get you.
Coming to get you.
They are coming
and they're
to
not
get
changing
you.
what they're doing in this game.
Absolutely not. But with the amount of times, Proctor will be good because he'll be able to see over the defense, especially when he's in that two-man game with Flagg. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Flagg is the primary ball handler because they run a lot of stuff at the end of the clock as well, too. With him on the point and getting the ball screen, so you know they're gonna jump him and kind of trying to live with the results of the guy that he's throwing out of the trap to.
Well, the other thing, too, is, Jarrell, we don't see Cooper Flagg post a ton.
Do not.
We don't.
We do not.
But if Duke runs some actions to get him in the post, what's Houston going to do? They're going to double him.
Trap it.
Cooper Flagg, 6'8", 6'9".
Yep.
Cooper Flagg leads Duke in assists.
Yep.
So when you come trap, the ball's coming out of those traps because he's a really good passer. Now you're in rotations. Go make a play.
The thing that really makes me nervous about this is that I thought Purdue showed they had the perfect game plan for what you can do to counteract that style of ball screen defense. And they did two things. One, they started out and they had Caleb First out there with TKR. And what Houston did is they help off the four. They trap the four-man, gets in front of the rim, and they just ignore the four-man and then just say, we're going to be able to rotate fast enough that we'll get there on a closeout because you're going to have to throw a loop, come off the ball screen. You're not going to be able to throw a crisp pass, right? You can't. There's no one you could double off of.
Right.
If they're setting the screen with Malawak, there's no one you could double off of a Duke.
Right.
You're going to be leaving a 40% three-point shooter open. When Purdue made their run, they brought in Cam Heidi. He knocked down a couple of those threes, right? The other part of it is they started doing they would set the screen and disengage, and they throw those little pocket passes right away and get TKR on the short rolls.
Yep.
You know who's the best player in America in the short rolls, making a decision in like a 4-on-3 advantage? Young man by the name of Cooper Flagg.
That's my point. It's not a play calling game. It's a playmaking game, and they have the best playmakers in the country.
I might steal that line. That's a great line.
And
Did you come up with that yourself?
I did.
I don't mean to break up the coaches meeting here, but I do think that when you look at the games that Duke has lost, there's a common theme. Kentucky, Kansas, and Clemson all had bigs that could shoot. They all had bigs that could step out and bring Malawak out of that paint. Right.
Yep,
obviously, Kentucky had Amari Williams and Brandon Garrison. We know Kansas had Hunter Dickinson, and Clemson had Shefflin and Victor Locken. Houston does not have that guy. I mean, Jawan has been incredible at turning himself into an offensive player with that push shot. But Kaman Malawak is going to eat that up. I just don't see how he gets
To me, the only way Houston wins this game is if they get way more possessions. Can they get 8 extra shots? Can they just dominate the backboard and get 8 to 10 extra shots over Duke? I think that's the only way they win.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, I think the key to the game is going to be the physicality. A ton of that is going to kind of be determined how the game is called, too.
Yes.
Houston's shot, for me, is doing what they do, staying true to it, and just trying to disrupt everything Duke does, starting with the physicality, start leading to the ball pressure, coming to get those guys out of ball screen situations. They're going to have to try to rattle Duke. Duke is too good to really man up for them and beat them on a talent-to-talent basis any other way.
Two matchups that I'm looking at specifically. Cooper Flagg defending Juwan Roberts. That's what the matchup's going to be. Duke does a lot of switching, but that's how it's going to start.
Yep.
Juwan Roberts is big. He's physical. He gets to that left hand. He's got that – I don't know what you call it, a runner, a jump hook, a floater, but he gets to that little left-handed shot off the glass. Can he get Cooper Flagg in foul trouble? Because if I'm Kelvin Sampson, that's one of the first things I'm trying to do is try to get him out of the game.
I think Cooper Flagg is ready for that shit.
I do too.
I do. I think he's going to relish that.
I do too.
Duke's defense doesn't get enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets a lot of love, but it feels like it doesn't get enough.
But Juwan Roberts is also 23.
No, you're right.
Fifth-year senior.
It's a big test.
Tough, physical.
It's a big test for
the other
Flagg.
one. Second half against Alabama, John Shires looked at Mark Sears and said, "You can't guard us," and they went at him every single
100%.
time down the floor. L.J. Cryer is 6'1". The smallest player on Duke's roster is 6'5", 230. Sion James.
It's a problem.
They're gonna go at him.
Again, you saw it in Alabama.
LJ's got to show up.
Listen,
LJ's got to be here to
It's going
guard.
to be a hell of a lot harder to do that on Houston, though.
Yes.
Regardless if it's just one guy like L.J. Cryer. This ain't Alabama.
The size.
They are on a line together.
I
think it's going to be hard to try to single him out and expose him.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from Mark Sears.
Yeah.
But L.J. Cryer, he's got a ticker.
Tough.
He's tough. He has been at Houston. Is this 3 years he's been at Houston now? You cannot survive at the Houston program without having a level of physicality that he brings.
Compete.
So he will be competing.
He's going to compete.
He might not be able to do it, but he will fight his ass off to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And that might just be enough.
I just want
that
a
might
close
just be
game.
enough. I think we're going to get one the first game.
I agree.
I agree with that.
I agree.
I think here's my bold prediction. You ready for this? My bold prediction is Tahad Pettiford is hitting a step-back three with 2 seconds left on the clock to beat Florida. That's what's going to happen.
Detail.
It's going to be a tie game. They're going to get it to
I'll
Pettiford.
flip it and say Walter Clayton's hitting a step back.
Yeah.
Send Florida to the national championship game.
I'll take either one of those.
Loser buys a Coors Light?
I will take either one. Did you see the guy that Coors Light jersey?
That's awesome. Can
Should
I get that?
Yeah. You got. He's drinking a Coors Light too.
All right,
I think he likes Coors Light, Matt. What do you think?
I mean, if you're wearing a Coors Light shirt and drinking a Coors Light, you like Coors Light.
It might be a little too much Coors Light.
Walking advertisement.
Yeah.
right,
Choose chill, bro. Choose chill.
Before we are we doing toast of the night? Before we wrap up, obviously every coach here is in a good position with their program. But if you had to say, and again, all relative, which of the four coaches needs this title the most? Again, I know it's all relative. All these guys are in good spots.
I'm going to go John Shire. He's taken over for a living legend, arguably the greatest coach in the history of college basketball. Everyone was questioning at times the hire when it was made. Was he the right guy? Should they have hired Coach Amaker? Should they have hired Chris Collins? A lot of people question that. I'm sure our good buddy Jeff Goodman questioned it at one point in time.
Yep.
If he does this, I mean, we've seen these guys taking over for living legends struggle. Kyle Neptune just lost his job. And if this guy wins a national championship, stepping into the stage that he stepped into, man, I mean, I would say him.
I don't think enough people appreciate that. And
I don't either.
I feel like it's kind of become a talking point here in San Antonio, so maybe we've reached that point. But the saying is, you don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy, right?
Absolutely.
John Shire, at 34 years old, walked into the shoes of maybe the greatest to ever do it. Definitely the greatest to ever do it.
It's in the question.
Like,
him and one other guy probably.
Yeah, it's him and Patino,
I have
right?
nothing going on
Did you
in
say
my
him and
life.
Patino?
That's insane.
What?
John's just up here reflecting about his life at
34 years
33.
old, I have nothing going on in my life. It makes me
And
feel
John
like
Shire's a
a
game
got a
away
lot-
from
you
the
got a lot
national
going on.
championship.
You wanna feel
at
the
36.
You're here with us.
You got a new hat. You lost your dad water hat last night.
I did. We won't go into that. But let's get some predictions before we get out of here. Matt McCall, who's going to the national championship? Who's winning it?
Florida and Duke. You're gonna make me pick here right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Duke's been playing too good. I probably have to go with the Blue Devils.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
I gotta go with the Blue
I'm not
Devils.
letting you do it.
in my bracket, I've got the Gators.
Yeah, so there you go.
I'm being a person of the media.
Say it with your chest, McCall. We know what you want.
You know what my dad said when I came into this world?
Speak it into
my
existence.
dad said it was great to be a Florida Gator. It's great to be a Florida Gator. I'll take the Gators.
There you go. He's got it. You can't. You got it. Like you got to ride with your team, man.
Rob,
you got to ride with your team. I have Auburn winning tonight. I'm sorry, McCall. I just think that they found the gear that they need to be able to beat Florida, and Florida scares me. Florida scares me right now. And then I have Duke beating Houston. I think Duke wins relatively comfortably.
I'm going Gators in Houston. Gators in Houston.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gators in Houston.
Kelvin Sampson breakthrough. Yeah, he gets it done.
I feel like you'd be a good guard for Kelvin.
Build the statue now.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have fit that Kelvin Sampson
I would have loved
program.
to play for him. But listen, the day I have a son, just a daughter for now, but the day I have a son, he'll be probably long gone.
You can't
without
plan.
a no-brainer.
You can't
you
plan
can go
that,
play for
right?
Kellen.
Without a no,
You
exactly.
can go play for
Look,
Kellen.
No-brainer.
There you go.
No-brainer. That's the type of guy you want
you
your
can't
son
just
to look
say I'm going to have a son.
I
right?
said the day I have a son.
But you can't plan that. Like
can.
you're rolling the dice.
Hey,
it's a 50-50 chance.
Science.
You ever heard of science?
It's a 50-50.
Science.
2025.
I had 2 girls and a boy. I can teach. I'll teach you how to get the boy.
You can choose which kid
I'll tell you.
want
I'll
now.
tell you what to do to get the boy. I got you.
I'm gonna go.
Hey, that's for the field of 68.
We're gonna say that
got
after dark.
After dark, McCall, that's for
I'm gonna
after
help
dark.
Terrell get a son.
I'm going to go Florida has been living on the edge a little bit too much for my liking. They've been kind of like, remember when Michael Jackson kind of held his kid over the balcony and everybody was like, no, don't do it, man. And he ended up not falling. But don't tempt fate. Florida has tempted fate, and they've survived. I think that runs out today against Auburn. I got Auburn moving on. And then Duke is just the highest net-rated team. They have no weaknesses. I respect the shot out of Kelvin Sampson and the job he's done this year, but I think he's outmatched. I think he's overpowered today against Duke. So I think it's going to be Auburn and Duke in the final, and then I'll take Duke in the rematch. Listen, these guys are going to get over to the Alamo Dome, the home of UTSA football, for the Final Four. So expect coverage. We'll have a post-game show, correct? Post-game show what time?
Whenever the game's over.
Whenever the games are over, catch us here live on YouTube here at the Field of 68. For Matt McCall, for Rob Doster, for Jarrell McNeil, I'm John Martin signing off from San Antonio. See you later tonight.